Hey. Hey, little guy. Hey, Regina. Hello, Glen Coco. Hey, Glen Coco. Hey, Mama. Hey, Katie girl. Oh, is that a good little piece of hay you got there? Janice? Oh, aren't Janice's eyes pretty? These little babies are getting big. I mean, big comparatively. They were tiny. They're still very small. Hey, Gabe. What's up, boy? Sweet boy? What's up, sweet boy? Hey, Winona girl. Alright, I just came over here to check on Miss Mabel. She's definitely looking wide. Large and in charge. Oh, I don't know. Her udder's definitely getting bigger, but it's not like super tight. I need to feel her ligaments. Mabel. She's getting close. I think I may go ahead and make the call to isolate her. She's not gonna like that a lot, but she's a first freshener and I don't entirely trust her to have her kids unattended. I would just like to make sure that I'm aware. But Nestle, come on, little lady. Trying to shoot a video here. Oh, are you over me now? She may be fine. I just want to make sure I don't miss it. Thankfully, I mean, here's a little bright side. We're home all the time. But I think we probably need to isolate her just to be sure. She's definitely close. The amount of time you spend looking at the backside of animals once you start farming, I mean, it's a lot. Way more than you ever thought. I guess nobody really thinks they're gonna spend a significant amount of time looking at the backside of animals, but personally, I've just been surprised at how much of that there is. The amount of pictures of the backside of animals that I have on my phone. For instances like this, it's a lot. We are putting a fence up here. That's what this is. Noah's been working on it because now that he's over here working on the house, he doesn't want this posse busting up in his living room, which I can't blame him. So we'll still have access to this whole side yard and this barn and then the back pasture, and then Noah will have his yard here. All right, let's check in on these little babes. Gosh, they're getting so big.
I'm gonna give them more food.
Yeah, they're going through it quick. All right, let's visit with these little guys. Hey! I actually don't remember all the breeds that we bought. I'd have to look at my list to know for sure. But I remember some of them, and now that they're starting to get their more distinguished features, I'm able to kind of guess who's who in here. I have several of these little white ones with the feathered legs, and those are my white Morans. And I'm really keeping an eye on them because those are straight runs, so I don't know what of those are hens and what are roosters. This pretty little one on the end here is a blue laced red Wyandotte. Can see from the feathering that's coming in there. They change so fast. Like just in the last week and a half, they've gotten so many feathers. They're flying across the brooder. These feeders are really cool because they have this little twirly thing on top, so it keeps them from perching on top of them and pooping in their food. Look at this little Americana. Oh, nope. Doesn't this one look like a little wild bird? Oh, look at those markings on its face. Pretty baby. The only negative to these heating plates is the fact that they poop on top and you have to clean it off pretty regularly. But we still use them because they, in my opinion, are far superior to heat lamps. We actually had a heat lamp fall into a brooder full of quail about a year ago, and it killed the quail, and we are very thankful that it didn't catch our house on fire because it was in our basement. And after that, we were already using heat plates at that point, but we would occasionally use a heat lamp because the heat plates were kind of big. And after that, we were just like, nope, never again. And you can get smaller heat plates as well. My goats are all losing their winter coats. So you can see they're shedding. They look a little rough right now. It's the next day. It's the evening and I am making my little farm walk, checking everything out. And I figured I would finish out this vlog. Here's the high tunnel progress. Not a whole lot has changed since the last time you guys saw it. We've got this sidewall in and we paused on putting this one up. Several of you had mentioned this and we kind of changed our plans a little bit because we do take your suggestions into consideration, and a lot of times you guys can see angles that we haven't thought of yet. We had talked about waiting to put the greenhouse walls up until we had filled the beds, and we basically weren't sure kind of how the unfolding of this process would go, but we talked about it a little bit further in depth after our last video on this and decided that it would be worth a few day delay to wait for more of our cedar to get milled and get started on our beds first so that we could fill them with the tractor instead of having to fill them wheelbarrow by wheelbarrow of soil. And even though I'm really eager to get it up as soon as possible, obviously when it comes to something like that, you're talking about a lot of back-breaking labor that could be avoided. So what we're doing is we have some of the cedar, we have 10, and we're basically building beds very similar to the ones that are in our garden. We're going to use some limbs and branches and different things from the woods to fill the bottom layer, and then we're gonna layer on some topsoil and compost that we have, and then our super soil compost that we've had brought in on top of that. And we'll show you guys that process when we get to it. It'll be a couple of days. But we'll start building this side of the beds first so that we can bring the tractor in, fill them, and then we'll build the next one. Another thing that we discussed and had decided to do, then you guys started making the suggestions, which really just confirmed it as a good idea. Instead of doing straight 60-foot beds, we're gonna split them so there's a path in the middle so you don't have to walk all the way to the end of the greenhouse to get over to the next row. And that's just gonna simplify moving around. We'll lose a few feet of planting space, but not very much at all.
I just lifted over a gigantic rock and it's in the shape of a square. It's still standing.
Oh.
I found 3 worms. I carried them all the way to the
Come here. You can see here our markings because we did some measurements. Basically there will be a 4-foot row on each side, butted right up against the wall. So you'll be able to access that row from the outside and from the inside. Then we'll have a 2-foot walkway. The reason why we're doing 2-foot walkways is because we need to be able to access with like the ability to carry things down here, possibly, you know, set baskets down. So we're not gonna make the walkways any smaller than that. Then there will be another 4-foot bed here. And down the middle of the greenhouse will be a 4-foot row. So we can get a wheelbarrow down here for when we need to amend the beds, because the outside beds you'll be able to access from the outside. And the larger row in the middle will give us access to the 2 middle beds. If you're a visual learner like me, you probably have already checked out of what I'm explaining, so I'll stop. But basically, we're figuring this out and getting started ASAP. Probably day after tomorrow we will get started on these beds. The beds won't take very long to build. We've got that down at this point to a pretty good science. Also, we decided to push back and have an 8-foot entry here before the beds start, just to give us a little space. So these 2 will run the full length of the greenhouse, but these beds will not start for 8 feet in. And that gives you like a little entry space here. That way there's a place under cover where you can set things down. I may put a little folding table and a chair in here just because I always have to put a place to sit in my garden spaces, because the best medicine for the garden is the gardener. And also it'd just be nice to have a place to like set down baskets or whatever tools. I'm really just kind of dumbfounded at this entire thing. I'm just so shocked and excited and slightly nervous maybe. It's gonna be amazing. You found something weird?
Yeah.
Let me see.
It didn't look like a worm.
I don't see anything.
I know it's back here.
There's a worm.
I see it.
Yeah. Hey, do you want to come visit the goats with me?
No, I'm gonna look for more worms.
You're gonna look for more worms? Okay.
I don't want
Benjamin is hunting for worms to give to the ducks and chickens.
It's a tiny little worm.
Jeremiah was moving some soil around back here, and I earthed a lot of shale. This is what is just so prevalent in our ground.
the rock.
That one looks like it's in the ground pretty good.
Yeah, it looks like a good one.
It's a gooder one.
What do you think?
Got.
You see any worms in there?
Don't see anything.
Benjamin comes out every day and digs for worms to take to the chickens and ducks. Sometimes the other boys join him, but they don't do it nearly as much as he does. Hey ladies. Hello, hello. So far so good on the little coop door.
Works perfectly.
I like the chicken noodle.
Wow, 5 more eggs already. That's 16 eggs for today.
It is 16 eggs for today. Hey Ben, you want to see a
Plus,
quick trick?
plus 3 duck eggs.
I can juggle. You ready?
Don't do it. No.
Oh, looks like
Yeah, do you see those rocks Daddy moved in? That's for the goats to play
Watch, when
on.
we go in there and we go stand by them, they're going to come jump on them. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go show.
We really wanted to build a goat playground, but obviously we've been very busy with other projects. And Maya improvised for the time being by moving these big rocks that we dug out of the back of the property up here for them to play on.
Watch, call them over here. Say, come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Do you see Glen Coco? He's in the hay feeder part.
Yeah. He does that.
How does it get out?
I'm not sure.
Oh wow, I guess we're about to see. I feel like should be discouraged. Yeah, there it is. There. Yeah, I did, I know. Hey babies. Actually, that's Glen Coco. He's the one with the white saddle on his back. The other one doesn't have a name. Aaron, I guess. Aaron Samuels. That's the other boy name from Mean Girls.
Duh.
And the little black one's Ninja, because we were out of Mean Girls names, and we're actually not keeping him. All right, let's check on this little lady.
Really?
Hey girl.
She is.
She was not happy with being isolated.
She was so unhappy last night.
Yeah.
Last night she was so unhappy we thought she was giving birth. We came out and checked. She was just mad.
Mabel is one of the dolings from our first year with kidding goats, because we had goats for a couple years that were really young, and then we got several that were pregnant and had multiple babies all at once, and Mabel was born that year, and we were pretty new to keeping goats. And because it was our first year, we were really just kind of learning. And one of the mistakes that we made that year was we did not handle our babies very much. They were dam raised, so their moms were taking care of them. And we just didn't hold them a whole lot or do anything with them because we weren't feeding them. Their moms were feeding them. And as a result of that, we ended up with some really wild goats. And Mabel is one of those. Like, she has not been handled a ton. She's hard to catch. She doesn't want to be handled. Now, we've had goats in the past that were like that. Once they have babies and they become stand trained, they typically get over that. Now, some of my back pocket goats that come up and lay their heads in my laps, they were wildlings at one point, but now I've milked them for a few years and, you know, we're buds. Mabel's not there yet. And because of that, we decided to go ahead and isolate her just so she could be used to being handled by us. I've been spending time out here. I sat out here for a while with her today, bringing her treats. We're starting to feed her on the milk stand to get her used to going in there. And basically just so we don't have a totally wild goat having babies, which will also be wild.
Plus, it's her first time.
Right. We want to
We
make
don't know
sure
what kind of mom she's going to be.
Right, or how she's gonna do with kidding. The only goat we've ever had get stuck while being born was Mabel. Jeremiah actually had to go in with her mom Pesky whenever she gave birth and get her repositioned, which doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean that she's gonna have problems kidding, but it's just kind of one of those things. She's got water and hay, and we'll put down some more clean straw. There's some down here, but she's making a little bit of a mess of it, but we wanted to have a clean space to have her babies. All right, so she wasn't turning her backside to me. I just got her to turn around. Her ligaments are gone and her udder is really swollen, so I think we'll have babies tonight or in the morning. Hey, lovely girl. We're gonna be friends, darling. Because I have goats that are so close with me and are so comforted by my presence, I hate dealing with labor with one that isn't. Like the fact that she is as wild as she is. I've only ever had it happen twice before that I had a goat that was just really this wild and unhandled. And actually Mayhem, who's my nanny goat that is so just one of my babies now. Her first kidding, she was wild and she acted just like this. So I have hope that Mabel and I are going to be really close, and usually this process is what brings it about. Do you want to go ahead and grab a fresh bale of straw from the storage and let's get a fresh layer down because she's really close.
Okay.
I've never had one kid like in the middle of the night. I've had one kid quite late at night, and I've had them kid at like 5 in the morning. So what this usually means for me is a late night hanging out in the barn. And typically what I'll do is just bring a chair out here. And that means for me, I'll probably just be a goat midwife for the evening. This is one farm job that Bear does not get to hang out with me for, because obviously goats being herd animals and prey animals, they are not at ease when there is a dog around, especially whenever they're trying to give birth. And it's very important to make sure you don't have anything making them feel really afraid, because that can cause issues with labor. We want them to feel safe. Since things appear to be pretty early, she's not in active labor pushing or anything, I am going to go ahead and charge my camera. It's actually a little low, so I will make sure that I have everything ready to go. I really want to be able to show you this birth since I missed every birth on my farm last year. So this is where we're going to part ways for now. We're going to get ready, but obviously exciting things are coming soon. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I bless you. Until next time.